Unforgettable Andy and Phantom Dark Dave. The Screaming Skull Podcast.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to a brand new episode of the Screaming Skull Podcast. We are your host. I'm Phantom Dark Dave.
And I'm Abnormal Andy.
And we're back in the saddle again. And Andy, it's about time we're doing some more sci-fi horror.
Yeah. When was the last time we did some sci-fi horror? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't listen to this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Me neither.
No, but we like to change it up a little bit. You know, some people could argue Slugs is kind of sci-fi horror because anytime you get into that creature territory, there's always something science fiction about it.
That's true.
And we conjured up this episode because the honest truth is we wanted to get a special guest on here. So anybody that's followed me or Andy or me and Andy for a long time definitely knows Pat. But he's making his debut on this podcast, and so we hit him up and was like, "Hey, man, what do you want to talk about?" And he's like, "Shit, I don't know." And I said, "Andy, let's just come up with let's let him pick like 5 or 6 movies that he would like to talk about, and let's choose one." And my God, the first movie he brought to the table was like a unanimous vote, and so we were all really excited to talk about 1988's Killer Klowns from Outer Space. But first and foremost, we got to introduce our guest, Pat. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? What it do?
Good to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Pat's the kind of guy that always has his hands in lots of pots because
True.
He's involved in several different podcasts. He's involved in YouTube channels. He's a big part of the friend group. But my God, I've been talking to this guy since like 2017. I don't think it was before that, but definitely 2017. Pat, can you believe that it's already been this long?
No, I actually did think it was a little bit longer, but that sounds about right. 2017, yeah. It's crazy. And we did get to meet up once.
We did, yeah. And, Andy, you and I did Black Cat Shadow in 2017, so that's the reference I was using.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense then, yeah.
But, anybody that knows us goes way back to when Twitter used to be amazing type days, and we had the biggest podcast friend group on there.
Right? It was funny because I was on Twitter or Instagram, and I saw when we had with the whole, was it the SIP network thing going?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, how that, that was going good for a while, but then it just seemed like everybody was just like drifted.
It'd be like that, right, Pat?
You ain't lying.
It was a night like any other night. Then something happened.
You see that?
Something different.
It's no shooting star.
Why here? Why now? Why clowns? They've been knocking him dead all over the universe.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Soon they'll be doing it at a theater near you.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Pizza?
Maybe they're just cruising through the galaxy and stopped here for a bite to eat.
You don't need a police pal, you need a psychiatrist.
They want to play games? They're messing with the wrong guy.
What are you in for?
Killer Klowns from Outer Space. It's crazy.
But no, this is really cool because we were talking about, does this become a traditional run-through episode? And I think it was, Andy, we just kind of talked about it. It's like, this is just a really fun movie. Let's just have an all-out general chat about it. And we'll kickstart this thing with what we love to do, and that's oldest memories, first-time watches. And, Pat, you're the guest on here. My dude, I know you love this movie, but I have no idea when you first saw it.
trying to think back to when I first saw this, I would have to say, I think it was early 90s. I don't, because I definitely didn't see it in the theater. That's something that, I mean, at the time, was it 88, right? So
Yep.
I was 6. So I'm trying to remember if I caught it on TV. So it was either 89 or 90. I remember catching it on TV and watching it and just was like, what am I watching? Like, I mean, I was that was before I really, really got into horror stuff. I mean, this is like, comedy horror, whatever you want to see, science fiction horror, but like anything like that, my parents kind of kept me away from. Exorcist scarred my dad so bad, he's definitely not into anything horror related. My dad back in the day would not even didn't want us to even own the videotape in the house, which my brother and I both had. He didn't know.
You should have got the laser disc.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so like growing up, we didn't do too much horror. If I saw horror, it was most likely, I could actually tell you where I probably saw this, was at my grandma's house. Because when growing up, I called it like the Souls compound, because my grandparents owned property, and then the front house was my one uncle. Then there was a duplex. We were in one, and my other uncle was in the other. So I grew up with all my cousins. Well, we all had, of course, the infamous black boxes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I'd go over to my grandma's with my cousin, and we would just find random crap to watch. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly where I saw it the first time. So I was probably like 9 or 10 when I first saw it.
There you go, man. Okay, so and when we talk about like black box, you getting free stations, you got the hookup, it's all good, it's a thing of the
Yep.
past. Do you know kind of like, I guess we don't have the same channels because we're spread across 3 different states here, but was this one of those basic cable TV channels, had the commercials and everything slightly edited?
I believe it was actually like a movie channel, probably like a
Okay,
HBO or pay-per-view or something kind
not
of.
that much needs to be edited, but I'm always
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. There's not too much that would be. I don't think in this movie that would be really need to be edited, but
No, because this is like
um,
PG-13 horror, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, definitely. I mean, really, like, I mean, what's the bloodiest thing? I mean, maybe with a guy who got all the pie.
Oh yeah.
When he
Oh,
gets
I
pie,
would argue that
or the,
maybe the scene where Mooney gets turned into a puppet, and the hand pulls out and it's all
that's true.
bloodied
That's
up.
true. That's
That
probably
was
be
pretty
the
great.
There was a
yeah.
decapitation too.
Oh, you gonna knock my block off?
Yeah.
That's right. Andy, what
That
about
is
you,
a
man?
scene. That is sorry, real quick. That is a scene, and I'm pretty sure we'll get to it too. But that is repeated constantly in this household and in my at my with my father-in-law, because he's also a big Killer Klowns fan.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think trying to remember the first time I saw this, and I think I was an adult. I don't think I saw this until later. Um, Probably rented it off Netflix or something like that. Back like 20 years ago or something. Back when they had the discs. But yeah, I think that's probably when because I'm trying to think back to like my days of watching those horror movies like on Saturday afternoons on the UHF station. I don't think this was one of them, but it seems like it would be one of those. But no, I think I saw it when I was an adult, probably in my 20s. Yeah, but no, I mean, it's always been one of those ones that I've really enjoyed, and I was really happy to see it come up on the list of choices. And yeah, it's just a fun movie, and it's just one of those funny, like crazy '80s horrors.
Yeah, it's totally a good gateway movie. Maybe something for young kids if you're trying to see if they could get into horror. You can show them this movie. It's not too scary. Could be polarizing, but it's definitely not scary. But the costume designs are fantastic. And for me, man, like the first time I saw this movie was a lot closer to like Pat. I was a young kid. I went with my aunt. We traveled up to West Virginia. I don't know who the hell we were visiting. I'm friends of family or somebody like that. But I remember that trip very well because there was a few big things that happened. One, they had 2 VHS tapes, and they were just like, "Oh, here you can watch these anytime you want." One was Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and the other was Flight of the Navigator. Have y'all seen Flight of the Navigator?
Oh yeah,
I saw that when it like around the time it first came out. I barely
yeah,
remember anything about it, but I know it's a classic.
yeah.
It is
Me
a
too.
classic, just like Killer Clowns, man. I watched those 2 movies on repeat that whole like week or two that we were in West Virginia, and it was so crazy because the most vivid memory I have from Killer Clowns of watching it at that time period. Again, I was probably right around, let's see, it came out 88. This would have been early to mid 90s. So I anywhere from 8 to 10, just like Pat right there. Because I was born in 84, so now people know how old I am. But I always remembered the infamous scene of, and I don't know why this particular scene, but the popcorn just crawling across the ground freaked me out. And not like scary freaked me out, but it just got my brain going. You know what I mean? Something about crawling popcorn and then actually be in the like larva state of the clowns. Something about that was kind of crazy. But yeah, also on that trip, I rode on the back of a dirt bike, unsupervised and barefoot, and my foot laid on the gas pipe and burned a giant welt on the side of my
Ooh.
ankle.
Oh yeah.
It's things like that you never forget. Good trip though.
Killer Clowns and burnt ankles. Yeah, I agree.
Burnt ankles, that's right. Andy, what's one of your favorite things about this movie, man?
I mean, I guess besides the clowns themselves, I mean, let's see. Well, you got John Vernon. You know, he's a familiar face. If you're a fan of Animal House or oh, he was in like Dirty Harry, you know, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He's like kind of the only really recognizable face, but I think he plays a good asshole, especially in this movie. He was you know, the officer in charge or whatever, and he wasn't going to put up with no shit, especially no pranks or
He did not
uh
like kids.
no, he didn't. No, and if you look, he wasn't going to stand for no weirdness. Like if you looked weird, he's going to throw you in jail.
What are you in for? Oh, I robbed the liquor store. What are you in for? Well, apparently I look weird, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he was like that, though.
Yeah.
Either one of you guys ever listen to ICP?
I'm not a big fan. I look, everybody, like, I know a lot of people talk a lot of crap about ICP. I tell you, you don't blame them, you blame their fans because they found a niche, they ran with it. I'm not gonna lie though, I heard
Yeah.
one or two songs where I'm like, okay, this isn't that bad. And the fact that they did the Oddity song for in WWF.
I remember
Oh
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really a huge ICP fan though at all.
So
Yeah.
I was pretty big in Insane Clown Posse back in
Oh, wow.
like sophomore. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
No.
we'll have a talk. Yeah, back I discovered it back around ninth grade, and I kind of rocked it out till about 12th grade. So it was definitely throughout all of high school. Had the Hatchet Man jersey. I mean, look at me. Does it really look that surprising? But yeah, they had an album come out, and I forgot the damn name of the song. If any juggalos out there are listening, you'll know what I'm talking about. But they actually incorporate dialogue from this movie in it. It's pretty awesome. So
Oh.
when you're watching this movie, you just that those scenes stand out, and you're like, oh man, that's great.
You were you drinking a lot of Fago?
Oh my God, was I? Oh, look, before Monster, there was Fago. I'm just saying,
Oh,
cheap ass
man.
soda for a
Okay.
reason.
I don't know how dirty you guys get on the podcast all the time, but
That's
you didn't show anybody your butthole, did you?
No, I didn't show anybody my butthole.
You know that's a thing with them, right?
No,
So at the
Enlighten us.
gallery of the Juggalos, that they want to make sure they, or if they think that they're being fellow Juggalos, to make sure you're not a narc or a cop, they'll ask you to show your butthole, and if you don't do it, they'll think that you're an undercover cop.
see the fact that
Wow.
Pat knows that's got me weirded out. Like, I
So-
don't even know that.
So there's a radio, there's a radio show that I've listened to. They used to be here local in San Francisco, and now they're in L.A. They're called the Woody Show. They I think they have some stations out in Texas too.
Oh my God, the Woody Show. Yeah, it's a morning show here.
Yeah, dude, they're fucking. I fucking love that show. I've been listening to them for years. They're syndicated
Okay.
out there. One of the guys there, his name is Seabass.
Yep.
He goes to the Gathering of the Juggalos every year. You ever hear of Cartnarks?
No.
Okay, look that up on YouTube. But basically, he goes around. He'll even go to different cities, and what he does is like people who don't put their carts away. He basically like gets on them for not putting their carts away. You have to look it up. But anyways, he goes to the Gathering Juggalo every year, and that's how he reports on what goes on there and everything every year. So that's how I found out about
Man,
it.
I'm sorry I brought it up. We're talking about buttholes now. Okay. But okay, cool. So what about you, Pat, though? I mean, so Andy brought some good points. I mean, obviously the look of the clowns, look of the sets and everything like that. He
oh,
likes
yeah.
Moody. What's some stuff you like?
I mean, it's just a fun movie. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, like I said,
Um,
it's even though it's categorized as like a kind of, it could be like a horror movie or like you said, like horror comedy. It's just fun, and it's just
Yeah.
the clowns look great.
Yeah.
and it's just the like the effects and coming up with the popcorn gun or the cotton candy gun, and just like everything is focused around the circus, and it's just a fun movie, like you and it, like you introduction to horror to someone younger or someone who's like not really into scary shit.
Right.
It's just like the perfect movie. Back was it when we went to that wedding 2 years ago? We went to Indiana for a friend's wedding, and we were talking about Killer Clowns a lot. And our two of our friends out there have never seen it,
Ooh.
so we showed it to them for the first time, and it was just the looks on their face of confusion and enjoyment, and then like just certain parts that just blew their minds, like and like it became one of their favorite movies.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a great movie to all around. I feel like just a fun popcorn, enjoy it. Like I said, you can
Literally.
watch it with your it's not even with a parent or something,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it would bug them.
You know what's crazy to me is, almost any horror group, it seems like this movie is universally loved, but I'm kind of dumbfounded on how popular it is in the mainstream world because you can't go into like a Hot Topic or a Spencer's and not see Killer Clown merchandise.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
taken over the last, I'd say, 3 years or so. The last 3 years or so, all of a sudden it became like really. I mean, that's where we got a bunch of stuff for us around here. I wanted to go at Spirit. They had one of the Killer Clowns. I wanted to get it, but I haven't
Mm.
pulled the trigger on buying that yet.
You talking about a costume or like a
No,
little?
like the animatronics.
Oh,
Oh, that
wow.
would be amazing.
It's about 6 feet tall. I think they have, or they also have a Shorty who wasn't obviously 6 feet tall, but they have Shorty and I think it was Slim
Wow. Man, it's
that you
dropping
can
the
get.
names of the clowns here.
Yeah.
Look out, Andy.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, so but yeah, that's definitely something I would say in the last three years or so is that it actually really came back into mainstream. I mean, they even had the video game that came out, which I wish was better than it was. I mean, it's fun, like if you have a group of people, but they really like flooded it with bots if they don't have enough people, and it just kind of takes away from the game. And it's still around, but it's pretty. I don't think it's gonna be around much longer because
Mm.
I just think that they should have had. I think they could have had a better launch. It would have been better if they would have put it like on a Game Pass or something to where
Sure.
it's already you get it as
Subscription.
you go. Yeah, instead of having to pay for it, because a lot of people are like, I'm not too sure about this, and they Dead by Daylight, I can play that for free if I have Game Pass or whatever. So,
You trying to say Dead by Daylight's better than the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game?
well, overall, I would say yes because it has more variety, but also has like better graphics and support. They like I said, there was a couple of glitches that kind of screwed that game up from the beginning too,
Mm.
and then not enough, like I said, in microtransactions, which will kill
Oh,
anything
woo.
that's not popular yet. Like
See,
if
you're
it's
losing
popular,
me already, man. I don't. The games I play, you don't even have to be online to play.
yeah.
I got to still blow on the cartridge and stick it in. Keep it real. You know what I'm saying? WWF WrestleMania 2000. Let's
Hey,
go.
hey, what you do in your bedroom is your own personal business.
Correction, it's my son's bedroom. Get it right. Hey,
Oh, hey, yo!
hey. But I think you guys hit the nail on the head, man. This is just a fun movie. The other day when Andy and I were giving it rewatches, he hit me up and he's just like, "Yeah, I rewatched it today, and I just forgot like how much fun this movie was."
Yep.
And when I gave it the rewatch, I immediately was the same thing, and I was just like, "They just don't make movies like this anymore. They really don't."
No, it'd be. I really wish if they can try to capture the same funness of this movie, like a return,
Mm.
like somehow, like all
So
years later.
I love that you bring that up because I know Andy's probably got some tidbits too. But one thing that I did not tell you guys is back in 2018, I was actually talking to the director of this movie, Steven, and developed somewhat of a relationship with him. Nothing. It didn't really go very far because I was trying to get him on the podcast back in the day, and he kept telling me that he wanted to do it, but he was in the mix of trying to get a sequel done because they were trying to do Killer Clowns 3D. And
Yeah.
he said
Okay.
if he could get that off the ground, he wanted to come on the show and talk about it. And I was like, hell yeah. But like deep down, I was like, why can't you just come on here and talk about this one? Because it's already amazing. But he
Yeah.
just wanted to wait and promote. And then lost contact with him, man. And unfortunately, that movie never came to fruition.
Yeah, that's was something I really wish that they can do. I mean, especially I was having high hopes with all the popularity of be in Spirit and Hot Topic and all this stuff again. And more people seem to are starting to know about it again, especially with the game that came out. That it could have been a thing, but
Andy, you got any information about possible sequels or remakes or anything?
Like online, it still shows like in production, like, but I don't know how long it's been like that. But
That shit's in like pre-production.
I got a fun fact for you, or kind of a fun fact. So, Christopher Titus was in the movie, right?
Yes.
oh, he was.
Yes, at the beginning.
Oh shoot.
So years ago, Brian Terrible Terror podcast,
Yep.
he and I went to a comedy club to see him, and we met him afterwards. I had to shake hands with him and took a picture. And Brian said to him, he goes, you're in one of my all-time favorite movies, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And Christopher Titus's response was, "Oh God, that movie! I can never escape it." And Brian was like, "Sorry, I brought it up."
Yeah. Not too fond of it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. But he wasn't like being rude or mean about it. It's just
Right.
the comment of, "Oh my God, I can't escape that movie." And
He's
even
like
though
the cameo, one movie, and
yeah, in it for like barely 10 minutes.
and correct me if I'm wrong. He's in the scene where he's walking across the street with the beer, and Moody's in the car.
Yes.
Is that him?
Yeah,
Okay.
like that whole, and then basically, I think you see his glasses, or one of the ones with the glasses.
Yep, that's
with all
where
the cotton
Dave
candy in the
gets
car.
convinced. Good name, by
Yeah.
the way. Yeah.
I was thinking, and this is actually in the trivia, but I was thinking this movie kind of reminded me of The Blob a little bit, like the format, like the
Oh, sure.
kind of how the teenagers.
Same year, right? 88?
Yeah, but like even like the old one too, like the teens, they see something weird, or they see the meteorite falling, and they have to go try to warn the town, and then the police are like not really listening to them and stuff like that. And then like the clowns, slowly take over the town and kind of capture everybody and eat them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of cool how that kind of lines up with the Blob.
Yeah, I was also getting vibes of like Creep Show, the second story with Jordy. So you have like the meteorite, they think they see a shooting star or whatever, it crashes down. Then you have the old man who's like kind of simple and he goes out to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Stephen
go
King.
blank on his name. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I kept wanting to say Steven Spielberg for some reason, but I knew that wasn't right. So I'm like, wait, am I saying that?
Oh, man.
That story to this day still gives me chills. The reason why I don't have like a lot of phobias about spiders or anything like that, but I have this weird thing, and I've had since I was a kid, about something like growing on your skin. And so that whole thing with
yeah.
all the grass growing on him and all, it still makes me with this song. It's like
One of the
scratching at
most
myself.
unscariest stories of that whole movie, and it's got Pat
Exactly.
itching.
Exactly. It's just like, ugh.
And that's weird because I feel that same way about the last part of that movie. We won't keep talking Creep Show in case someone hasn't
Yeah.
seen it, but the last story is the one that makes my skin crawl naturally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But oh man, this movie is so much fun because I just love the practical effects. And one of the suckiest things about growing up is once you know how movies are made, sometimes it's hard to see past like certain elements in the movie where you can
Yeah.
tell how fake things are. It takes you out of it. And so this whole time I was like, okay, I'm keeping these fucking nostalgia glasses on. I want to love this movie. And I was so happy at the end that it stayed that way.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm actually having I had this conversation with my wife not that long ago about like getting older.
Oh, I know. I was listening.
Oh, I bet. All the cameras you put up in here. But yeah, like it's getting older, and like you're seeing certain things and you're going, there's no way that would be like that, or there's no way that this would happen like that. And like I still can bury myself into a movie, but sometimes you look at certain movies or old movies and you're like, I'm trying to think of exactly what it was, where it's just like you're like, there's no way that person would be there in that moment and not have this happen or something like that. And it takes you out of the movie. And I'm really like, I don't do it all the time, but like I've noticed as I'm getting older, like you're saying, but you can see about knowing about certain effects or that. So it just naturally your brain like, yeah, but yeah, sometimes you just got to just turn it off and just enjoy what it is.
Yeah, it's like you want to see the movie for what it is, but
Yeah.
sometimes your brain won't let you, and you
Yeah.
have to, like you said, shut it off. But, I think that is a testament to one, like how good of a job they did making the movie. But if the actors themselves can just keep you from overthinking the situation, they did a good job. Andy, you talked about, you said John Vernon was the guy's name?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like Leslie Vernon. No, that's not right. So John Vernon being one of the probably most recognizable person. Did you recognize? Was it Suzanne Snyder, the love interest in the movie? Because she was from Weird Science.
Oh, was she? I did not
Oh,
recognize
I
her.
forgot about that.
Weird Science. Ah. That's a good movie.
Dun, 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 dun,
John
dun,
Hughes in the
dun,
house.
dun, 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 dun.
Weird Science. Oh man.
Yeah.
It just like there's it's like I said, quotable things in this movie, like like I said, like the "you gonna knock my block off" or
Yeah.
"boys, what are you gonna do with those pies?" Like just
Oh.
like and
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, it cracks me up every single time. Like and it's just it's like I said, what they did with that movie was just great, and it's like that sometimes you go. That's why I'm kind of happy they didn't do a sequel right away. I felt like if they tried to do a sequel right away, it might have been.
Like a rehash.
Yeah, or yeah, just like too rushed. But like I'm saying, like something now, all these years later, with everything that's being rebooted or brought back, or
Oh yeah, dude, we're in the time of a
continuations.
requel. Like the time
Yeah,
is now.
yeah,
And that
exactly.
is not a
And
John Cena reference. I'm sorry.
dun, 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 dun.
Stop.
I mean, they just had news about was it they're about a new Chucky movie, and they're trying to bring it back to theaters
Make
and
it
everything.
scary again too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've loved all of them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, but like, yeah, I mean, they got really silly for a minute, but then like Curse of Chucky kind of brought it
Dude,
back.
it's okay. We all know Seed of Chucky is your favorite horror movie.
Well, shit face, he just gets to me. Oh, that
Andy,
was
did you have like a
crazy.
favorite, I guess, air quote, kill in this movie?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think like there's some. Well, I don't know. Like as I was watching through the movie, it's like man, they're just like turning everybody into cotton candy. But as the movie goes on, you do get some more different kills. But yeah, I would say the one that really sticks out to me is Officer Mooney getting turned.
Oh,
And he
yes.
has that quote earlier in the movie. You're not going to turn me into a dummy or something like that. And then
yep.
Mhm.
that's what the clowns do. I think that was funny. But yeah, that one where they're just, it's funny that whole interaction with him and the clown. Like the clown lets him put him into the jail cell, and then he locks the door, and the whole time Mooney's just talking shit to this clown, and then finally the clown has that little party
It's
blow
like
up
a
thing.
kazoo thing, but yeah.
Yeah, and he just blows it and it grabs Mooney's throat and like
Very
uh,
like Beetlejuice effect.
it
Yeah.
was it did remind me of that, yeah. So and then whenever so that's all you see at that point, but then whenever the other cop gets back to the police station, he's walking around looking for Mooney and finds him, made up like a puppet. I thought that was a pretty
Basically
kind of,
sitting in the lap of this clown with
yeah.
rosy ass cheeks and like a white painted face. It's pretty
Mhm.
creepy looking, to be
It is
honest.
pretty creepy actually. I wonder if that inspired that movie Dead Silence, James
Such a
Wan.
good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good movie. Well, I mean, and the whole scene too with that when he's done talking, he drops him, and then the way he just like
Yes.
pulls his
Oh,
hand
yeah.
out with the
Yes.
blood on it, that
Yeah.
was just
I mean, he might as well just like slung his hand and blood hit the ground afterwards. That's the only thing it was missing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that might have been gave it the R.
That's true. But dude, but then after that, that clown stood up and was like, I don't know, 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty polarizing scene because our characters aren't too tall in this movie and they are towered on. But man, some of the scenes you gotta love the uppercut, obviously, knock your
Yep.
block off scene.
Oh,
That
yeah.
one always pairs with Jason Takes Manhattan with me. I'm
Yeah.
like two
I
of the
was thinking the
greatest
same thing, like which is the better
uppercuts. Yeah,
head knockoff. Well, and that can say like that scene alone too. Like the other thing is like there's a bunch of different clowns, but they all you kind of get a personality out off of all of them.
Yeah.
And especially with Shorty, like can I beep it? So he lets him beep
Oh,
it.
yeah, sure.
And he beeps it, and then he smashes the bike, and the whole crying. That was just like Shorty had his own personality. Jumps back with the gloves, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Speaking about like things that people wouldn't do or kind of questioning things in the movie, like I was wondering why the girlfriend she didn't get turned into cotton candy like everybody else.
Right,
They
she got
they
put in a fucking bouncy ball.
yeah, and I feel like she kind of had some plot armor there. Like
No, I was gonna say that's straight plot armor right there.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe she wasn't good enough to eat like everybody else.
well, I was reading. I was kind of there's lots of fan theories about stuff, but I guess
Tell
like
us.
what's that?
Tell us.
Oh yeah. So there's some fan theories about like why they were putting some people in the balloons, and they were specifically putting women in the balloons, and people were thinking because they were going to procreate with the women or try to anyway.
Yeah,
Hell
that's
yeah.
very possible.
So
They don't have
yeah,
enough meat on their bones too, maybe, or they were going to fatten them up or something.
yeah.
I mean, there were the clown girls though too,
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the ice
Huh.
cream guys.
with
Those were previously kidnapped, female humanoids there.
maybe they could be, yeah,
Mm.
with insta boobs.
All right, we need that sequel like yesterday.
So the cool thing about the ice cream guys, they were brothers, right? Um, they
Yeah.
they in the game, there's different ways you can try to get away, and if you're there the longest without escaping, they'll show up at the last like minute of the game or something like that and bust through it with the ice cream machine, like how they busted through the tent or whatever.
Mhm.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
bust through, and then that's how it gives you a path to escape.
There you go.
That was
Cool.
Yeah,
pretty
and
cool.
then you just got to hide inside the freezer and you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was cool about that was the different clown kills, because it would go into a cutscene and there was different ones you can unlock. Like either they'd hit you with the big mallet, or they had one where Shorty would pop out of the pizza box, stuff like that, which was pretty cool.
And that reminds me of one of my favorite scenes that was also super creepy is at the burger joint when that one cloud's outside, kind of like on the little seesaw animal thing,
Yeah.
and that little girl's looking and he's just kind of doing that finger like coming to my
yeah.
creepy van. Like it was up there, man. That was a win for that parent, by the way, for stopping that child.
Right, actually paying attention. An '80s parent that actually paid attention.
Holy shit.
But yeah, that's actually the kill right there. He does that with the dee, and then he busts them with the mallet.
Finally get to see it.
Right, exactly. Unfortunately, it's not on a kid though.
I love the fact that the spaceship was a circus tent. That was so creative.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, everything evolved around the whole circus and clown thing. Like they just went full throttle with it, which was the best.
And it takes itself, it's like in the woods, hard to find. And then I guess once it's discovered, they decide they're going to relocate. And where do they go? The amusement park.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So they're trying to fit right in. And talking
Speaking
about
of fit right in, how many fucking clowns were in that car?
Oh,
hey, it was a clown car.
yeah.
Like I said, I think they employed a bunch of Mexicans. I can say that I'm Hispanic
I'm glad you said it.
because we can fit a lot of people in the car too.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
like,
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, I like at the end when they get the giant, like kind of like the final boss kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I think they call it JoJo Clownzilla.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
what?
I think that sounds right. The Clownzilla for sure, but I think it is JoJo Clownzilla.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that scene. It was surprising because I wasn't. Yeah, he just comes from the ceiling. Because like, well, the when the ice cream guys bust into the spaceship, they start talking over the loudspeaker like, "We are JoJo" or something, like trying to. And I didn't know if they're like, was that
They like
reference-
focused on the clown head that was on the ice cream truck. And so I don't know
Yeah.
if they were trying to sell to the clowns, like they're stupid enough to believe that we're the leader clown.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And like, where
I
did
am
they...
I am your new leader. Follow me.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know where they got the idea about JoJo, but then there was like a big like clown that was their leader.
As there should be, man. Just like
Yeah.
dead alive. Like bigger is better.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah,
big
like-
in Texas.
Like that whole scene too, where they're trying to sneak around the ship, and then they find the clown going in there with the giant straw to the checking each cotton
That
candy
scene
to
was
see who's
awesome because
ready.
Yeah.
it confirms that they do kill people and succumb. They they consume people. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was just looking for an excuse to say come. My bad.
right, ayo.
Hey,
Like I said, as soon as I guess you're ready and you've been in the cotton candy long enough, you've been fermented, I guess, or something enough.
yeah,
Here
because
comes the
that clown
straw.
goes
Yeah.
up and starts like feeling on him and has to get it's a Goldilocks treatment. This one's just right.
Yep, exactly. And that's I get to know which one to stick the straw in.
All right, side
Yeah.
question for everybody. When's the last time you actually had cotton candy?
Actually, a couple weeks ago, because my niece had some and she asked me if I wanted some, so I said I'll take a little piece. But
Was
other
it
than
pink
that,
or blue?
pink.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Andy?
can't remember. I can't remember the last time I had it, unfortunately.
Andy's like, do they make cotton candy zero?
right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me somehow. Somehow they try to make it without the sugar. I mean, that's all it is sugar.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Just don't confuse it with installation. Installation.
Right? You get the Pink
Pink
Panther.
insulation. Yeah. You got it. Andy, what do you
Um,
think of them popcorn guns, man? Those things are awesome.
yeah, those are cool. Because it's like, because when you first see it, there's like shooting popcorn, like, okay, they're shooting popcorn at them. It's kind of weird. But then you notice it like sticks to them. Like, is
Yeah.
something gonna happen with that popcorn? And then yeah, it falls off and it goes in. It seems like it has to like go inside a container or something. It went in like the clothes hamper, and that other clown put it right into the trash dumpster.
Uh-huh.
And then it turns into little baby clowns, I guess.
Yeah, because eventually yeah, because the popcorn moves on its own, but then it kind of gives birth to the little miniature clowns that almost looks like something that comes out of a Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine being the one that you're sitting on the toilet and it decided to pop up on you?
Oh
Oh,
man, it's
man.
Ghoulies all over again.
Right?
Yeah.
Always reminds me
safe to go back to the toilet.
exactly.
from outer space.
It always
This summer.
reminds me of Look Who's Talking Too, where he's like trying to potty train, and then he has a nightmare that the toilet talks to him, and the toilet. I'll never forget this. The toilet's like, "Hey, next time you sit on me, I'll bite off your," or whatever. I'm just like, oh my god, I'm never
Oh,
using the
man.
bathroom again.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeez, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah.
Rewatch.
Right? But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the creativity with all that stuff. And then I actually surprised I haven't bought it yet, because like I've seen it at Spirit the last couple of years. Is they have the popcorn gun you can
I thought I
buy.
had seen it before. Okay.
And then they also have, I think we bought it for Brian, or he just has one. I can't remember, but it's
He
the
just casually has one, you know.
no, the it's like the little head, the ones that come out from the popcorn. It's
Okay.
yeah, I think we got him one. I think did we get him? Yeah, we got him that. It's like, it looks like the one that almost looks like a flower, like a flower pot or whatever. But yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Andy, you got any Killer Klowns merch?
I do not.
Me
Unfortunately.
neither. Outside of owning the movie, and that's the other thing I was going to talk about was I mentioned, the first time I saw it was when I was a kid, VHS and everything. Years later, when I started building my horror collection and doing DVDs, in the early 2000s, MGM released what's called Midnight Movies, and you'll know it too because it's
Yeah.
like a DVD, and at the top it said Midnight Movies in
Oh,
blue.
yeah.
And I used to always, I had bought this one. It was like $10, and I always paired it with Toby Hooper's. Is it Invasion? Help me
Invasion
out,
from
Andy.
Mars.
Yes, Invasion from Mars. I
Yeah.
kept wanting to say Body Snatchers, and I'm like, I know that's wrong. But yeah, those two movies pair together so well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a
I
good one.
specifically remember when I used to live in Fort Worth, there was this nearby like Dollar General. I would walk over there, and do you guys remember you could buy little juice bottles, but they were like this tall, and they had like the foil on the top. They were kind of round. They're always
Oh, yeah.
multicolored.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember I used to buy those because they were super cheap, and I would stash them, but I didn't want to put them in the kitchen where everybody could get them, and so I would literally have the windows open in my room, and then there'd be the screen, and I would just stick the drinks in the windows between the glass and the screen. So anytime somebody was over and watching like Killer Clowns or something, I'm like, "You want something to drink?" I just open up the window and grab one of those juices.
Oh yeah.
That's how we did it.
Right? Well, I just like I said, I mean, just everything looks great in this movie, and the clowns and the effects, and like I said, special or practical effects. Nothing's ever going to beat that, you know. And the fact that everything was practical, and that was just, well, I mean, I guess a little bit of CGI with the when they're turning into cocoons, but
Even
Or-
that, it was done in like the animation style, like the old
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah.
And it's so much better. I
yeah,
love
I
it.
agree.
Well, even like the scene where the one was making the shadow puppets, I thought that was great. It looked
Yes.
really good.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
a classic scene.
with the T-Rex and yeah.
That was really cool.
I think I said everything was just so creative with how they did kills and just
It's like they did
played out
not
the
run out
movie.
of ideas. Like every next scene was something that you're like, who thinks of this? You know what I mean? Like they hit the ground running. And
Yeah.
honest to truth, I think that's the reason why we never got another one is how do you beat that? Like that,
Yeah.
let's be honest, this movie is perfect for what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
it
like I
is.
said, there's sometimes like you get a sequel and you're like, okay, that worked, but sometimes like I said, depending on it, they just rush it out, they rush the sequel out just to capitalize on and they didn't with that. So I do appreciate that. But like I said, with the state of continuation stories, I mean, Scream again, and I didn't even seen it yet, but the new I know what you did last summer
You haven't
and all that
seen it?
stuff. No, I haven't seen that one yet. Like revisits back to these old movies. I would think that would be a good time to
That's
get
what
one
I'm
out.
telling you, man. Like the time is now. You had Beetlejuice 2 after how many years? Like sequels is what's hot right now, or requels, whatever you want to classify it as. But I think it'd be really interesting the way that they brought the clowns here is if in the next movie that they do, we go there. Let's see where they're from. Let's see their planet. Let's see the factories and stuff. That would be dope.
Yeah, maybe they can lead it off with the Ice Cream Brothers with the clown girls, and they need to go home for some reason, or something happens, and that's why they go back.
You think they hook up with the clown girls like for life? I
Hey,
thought that was a one night stand personally.
nah, I mean, they were there at the end of the movie together. Remember?
They had the kisses all over them.
Hey, yeah, exactly. They're gonna stick with what they know they can get.
Do you think they ate the ice cream? We never saw if clowns like ice cream.
Yeah, they didn't show it, but I mean, who doesn't like ice cream though?
Yeah.
That'd
People
be
who
like
are
the one treat
lactose
that they like.
intolerant.
Well, my wife is, and she'll still eat ice cream.
Hell yeah, it's worth it, right?
Exactly.
Just do it when you're home. That's all I'm saying.
Or on the way.
It goes right through.
Exactly.
Andy, you got anything else you want to talk about the movie, man?
I also liked how they had the little balloon dog, that was like their tracking dog.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It's barking and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I also love the fact that they reuse some of the masks in Ernest Scared Stupid.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
really?
You didn't know that?
Tell me, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the trolls, they used the same mask. It was the same mask. They just repurposed it with color in Ernest Scared Stupid. And I never put two and two together until I found out about that. And then I really looked at Ernest Scared Stupid. There's one or two clowns that you could just tell that it was from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, or trolls.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Wow.
Well, what are we talking about here? So I love Ernest Scared Stupid. I've seen it a good handful of times. I know the main troll in that movie. I got that. You're telling me that they took killer clown masks and repurposed them as troll masks?
No, those same ones that they used in Killer Clowns.
Yes,
they
88.
repurposed them in Ernest Scared Stupid.
Is there clowns in Ernest Scared Stupid, or do
No,
they make them look like trolls?
They made them like
Okay.
trolls. Yeah. Remember when the scene when he got the pods to drop down and more trolls came out, like towards
No.
the end.
No.
So okay, so towards the end of the movie, he turned the little girl, the kids into the wooden dolls.
Yes.
They put them in the tree, and then the spuds kept getting bigger and bigger, and they started dropping on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay,
then other
okay.
trolls would come out.
Oh, okay.
Some of those
That's
other
cool.
trolls, if
I'm
you
gonna
really
go look at
them,
that.
yeah, they're you could tell which ones that were from
That's cool.
from Killer Clowns.
Look at Pat dropping the knowledge on the show.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
cool.
first time on here, I got to come strong.
That's right. Shit, you did so good. We're gonna have to bring you back.
Hey, yo,
Yeah.
But then you have to bring the knowledge again.
let's go.
Andy, the thing I love, I think probably the most about this movie, outside of everything we've already said, was I love how vibrant it is. Because we all watch movies in the dark and it's great. But this movie is just lit up with so many different colors. Like this movie literally looks like a blacklight poster.
Yeah, they really made good use of colors, whether it's on the clown ship or even just like out and about. Like everything is pretty well lit. Yeah, and there was a lot of. It's funny. There was a lot of like clown things in the town, like Big Top Burgers. There was amusement park.
Yeah.
There was that drugstore or whatever that they were kind of. They spent a lot of time in that drugstore. That was kind of a weird scene that took them a long time to do. I don't know. Because and especially the drugstore guy, the pharmacist, he's like, excuse me, trying to,
Yep.
and that like went on for like a long time. I felt like I don't know what the clowns were actually looking for there, but they
They
did
just
get
wanted it all, man.
they did get a couple of people there.
Maybe one of the two people they just ate spicy food, so it gave them indigestion.
They had to go get some lactates. But I'll tell you one thing I always remember now when you go back to it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2, Secret of the Ooze, had to have pulled from this scene. So in Teenage Mutant Ninja 2, when he pretends to be the little animatronic
Oh,
outside the, you know what I mean, in the
the little
store.
clown,
yeah.
like I think that you just push over. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Such a great movie. Now that I
Yeah.
saw in theater, but I wish I could have seen if they, I got to pay attention because this movie would be one of those great movies to do an anniversary reshowing in theater. I would be there
Oh,
100%.
for
Oh,
sure.
definitely.
They've
In a
probably done it, and
heartbeat.
I've probably been dumb enough to miss it, but there's no buzz about it.
As far as I know, they haven't done that because like we seem to get a lot more around here than like I'll hit you up like, hey, did you see this gonna be in the theater? And you're
You
like,
do.
nope.
I appreciate that very much so.
We just
Pat's
saw
like,
actually last night. They had which is not in the horror, but Austin Powers was in the original was in the theaters. We went
Oh,
and saw it.
Fathom Events is where it's at, man.
Actually, this one was at Regal.
okay.
Regal Events is where it's at, man. Oh, shit. Well, Andy, you about ready to wrap this thing up, my dude?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything new or anything else.
The only thing I want to do is talk to Pat for a minute, man, because
Yeah.
I feel so guilty. I'm so happy we're able to do this because I have this history with Pat of always lining shit up, always getting ready, and always canceling. And it's so fucking frustrating to be like, why does it always happen on the episode that Pat wants to be on? I mean, he knows me well enough to know that's not the case, but it's like the guy's gonna
Yeah.
think I have it out for him. So I was so excited that we were finally able to get this thing done.
Well, I mean, Brian, he chose me the text about, hey, I'm gonna screw Patrick over this time again. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Pat, you want to know something awesome, man?
What's that?
Ever since I moved to Dallas,
Mhm.
my allergies went away.
Good.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Just go to a more polluted town. I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah. The pollution takes away from the all the what's the word I'm looking for? Pollen.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah.
Just have pollution is greater than pollen.
Exactly.
Um,
And just so you know, today on the way back here, because the wife and I went out today with San Francisco, did a whole day, went
Yep.
to Target on the way home, got me a Monster.
Oh.
and just so you know, my dude, I am about 5 months now with no Monster.
So how much longer till you get back on the wagon?
Till I practically lose my mind, and it just becomes better to lose my heart.
It's funny because every time I'll send you something with, "Hey man, I got a Monster," you're like, "Hey, I quit again." I'm like, and then about a month later, "Hey man, look at my Monster."
Yeah, and I still love it though because that was
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the first things you and I connected on, and I still have a case of Monster in my house that I look at every day that is still sealed, and I use it as my empowerment because the day I have to open it, shit has hit the fan.
Oh, I feel
But
you. Hey,
it
I
is
still
what
made.
it
You,
is.
you remember that video I made for you when you quit that one time, and I did the whole for the homie, and I poured out some Monster like it was a 40.
To be fair, I've quit Monster 5 or 6 times, but this is
Yeah.
the first time I've ever made it 5 months. So far so
Nice.
good. But Pat, man, I mean, like I said in the beginning of the show, you got your hands in a lot of pots. If people want to find you, follow you, hear you on other places, tell them where to do it.
All right. So as far as podcasts go, you have the It Be Like That podcast, IBLT podcast. I almost said .com. No, that's not it at all. But on Twitch at IBLT podcast, and also we're on Twitch. We go live every other Saturday, and also I got back. My very first podcast I ever did was a video game podcast, and we got back together. We started doing that again, and whenever the host wants to put the episodes up, he's horrible at that. We recorded an episode about 2 weeks ago, so you have to go
Shots
up.
fired.
Uh, but Nights of the Video Game Table podcast, kvgpodcast.com. And then you can find me on TikTok and Twitch at Solus_64. I stream a lot of different video games and yeah, at the horror, multiplayer, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. I love it. And if people, Screamers, you enjoyed hearing Pat on here, go check him out, man. Good friend of the show, Brian Terrible Terror. We've mentioned a few times. Pat is a frequent guest on there because they homies, man. It'd be like that. And I got to say, there's so many great episodes, but I'll always love the Mortal Kombat episode. So good. man. So good.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Andy, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you guys for listening to the Screaming Skull podcast.
Woo!
See ya.